So, Walker Howard enters the transfer portal. Comment down below. Do you believe LSU is making the right move here? Now, notice I say LSU making the right move. This, of course, was Walker Howard's decision, but Walker would not have transferred had he actually gotten more playing time. And look, if LSU had actually committed to him being at the very least the backup quarterback. So the thing here is Walker Howard is the clear-cut number 3 guy in this quarterback room right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, coming out of high school, I had a really high grade on Walker Howard. The only quarterback in the class of 2022 I thought was better was Cade Klubnik, and he is currently the starter at Clemson. And unlike Cade Klubnik and another highly rated recruit, Connor Wigman, Walker Howard didn't really play, right? And there is no clear path for him to actually play next season as Jayden Daniels has made the decision to come back to LSU. Now, why? I don't know. I guess Jayden wanted to come back and try to run, or should I say make a run for a national championship. And look, Jayden really didn't have that big of an NFL market. And I think going into this year, Walker Howard and Garrett Nussmeier assumed that Jayden was going to be a one and done and go straight to the NFL because last year, after Arizona State, Jayden Daniels was himself contemplating going to the NFL then. So they probably thought there's no way that Jayden was going to come back for a 5th, and technically this is a Rona year for Jayden. I would guess that that's what Walker Howard probably envisioned, that at the very least he would be the number 2 guy, but he is not. He is the clear-cut number 3, and as of right now, it looks as if Garrett Nussmeier is not going anywhere. So first thing we're going to do is talk about LSU's current situation as far as their quarterback room, and then we will touch on a few other things as we move forward. The number one thing that would absolutely be devastating for LSU is if Garrett Nussmeier also entered the transfer portal, and he very well could. We don't know the answer to that, but as of right now, I would guess LSU is pretty comfortable with the idea that Garrett Nussmeier is going to hang around now that Walker Howard has decided to leave, because the likelihood that Ricky Collins were to beat out Garrett Nussmeier for the number 2 role is very small. And I do think Garrett feels as if he has played enough up to this point that he does have a legitimate shot of winning out this job going into this year. And now that Walker is gone, Garrett Nussmeier can also see light at the end of the tunnel, that he will be the guy in 2024, because obviously this is Jayden Daniels' last year of eligibility. So honestly, from an LSU perspective, that would be the only thing that would be just bad for them moving forward. Boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you right now. So it's important to keep the quarterback conversation civil. Anytime there's a quarterback debate, it's when things get off the rails with all kinds of fan bases. At the very least, it could be Florida right now, where they are in a full quarterback meltdown. So at least LSU has it better than most at this point. I do think people are freaking out a little too much over a third-string quarterback. And that's not me necessarily taking a slide at Walker Howard, but just his situation. And we'll get to more of that here at the end of today's video. Now, there were rumors out there, and I'd seen this pop up in my YouTube chats, that Walker Howard was the best quarterback at LSU practice. And that very well could be the case. I'm not boots on the ground every day, but people that are, I have not heard that. Now, there are times that I've heard Walker Howard just dazzle in practice, and we've seen some of that footage get released. We've seen some of the dual threat capabilities that he has, but for the most part, I had not heard anything from practice. And what can you really take away from practice anyway? That Walker Howard had, jumped the other 2 and was outperforming the other 2. And plus, even if that was the case, it's hard to distinguish that unless it's an actual game situation. And that is honestly the saddest thing about Walker Howard is, well, we never got to really see him get real game reps. All we got to see him do is clean up and mop up duty. And with the transfer portal being the way that it is, and his dear friend Jack Besh going to TCU, and him seeing all these other elite quarterbacks get playing time, you do get antsy, especially if you thought that Jaden Daniels was going to go to the NFL after this year. And I would guess that both of them assumed that because most everybody assumed that Jaden Daniels was going to play this year and then go to the NFL, and that is not what happened. Now, what I'm going to do to end this video here is I'm not going to shy away from my evaluation of Walker Howard. I do think he is really good, but I, at the same time, don't grade him as a Caleb Williams or a Trevor Lawrence, where it is so transcendent that he is got to be the guy, and we have got to tell Jaden Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier to pack his bags because we've got to make sure we can keep Walker Howard happy. So I just I just don't see it that way. That's just my personal opinion. I know some of you disagree with that because you really do think Walker Howard is going or will be a really great college quarterback. But it is sad, going into this year, we were super excited about Jack Bech, who obviously hopped on PHL. We were super excited about Walker Howard. And I'm going to be honest, I've never known Walker. I've never really talked to anyone that is extremely close to him. But I did like him a lot. I did enjoy his story, being the son of an LSU quarterback. I really was excited to see him play as a legacy. I know that means a lot to some of our older viewers, that Walker Howard was going to get this opportunity. But what I want to get into is a philosophical debate at the end of today's video, okay? Now, what I want to do, and I don't know why I'm holding this. What I want to do is ask you a question, wherever you are right now. I want you to plausibly answer this. Let's just say Garrett Nussmeier wanted to stay. I will relay this information that I've been told that Garrett Nussmeier really likes LSU. And even though he's not the clear-cut guy, these last couple of games has obviously changed some things for him. And obviously, Jaden is the guy, and Jaden obviously is very happy at LSU. I've also been told by people from both of their parties is that they do enjoy being around each other. So, I just right now don't think Garrett Nussmeier is going to go anywhere, but we'll see what happens. But that aside, I want to just bring up something, and I want you to answer this very carefully, okay, and really think about it. What does a number 3 quarterback mean to you? Well, if you have really bad injury luck, it can mean a lot. As the San Francisco 49ers, they feel pretty good about drafting Brock Purdy at this point. But rarely does a season rely on a number 3 quarterback. It would have been very hard for Walker Howard, with no Division I game experience, to jump either Garrett Nussmeier or Jaden Daniels, as both of them have had not one, but 2 really good outings in their last 2 games. Now, they weren't breathtaking Stetson Bennett versus TCU kind of outings or Max Duggan versus Michigan type of outings, but they were good outings, right? It would have been very hard, and Walker Howard would have been the number 3 guy, okay? So, Walker Howard, he redshirted last year. This would have been his first year of eligibility if he stayed at LSU, and he still would have had 3 more years of eligibility to play at LSU. But what if he didn't beat out Garrett Nussmeier this next offseason? Then he would still be a backup just waiting his opportunity. And that lends itself to this final point here. We don't know what the quarterback position truly holds at any time, right? Take a look at the top 6 teams that have made the college football playoff over the past couple of seasons, right? Let's take a look at the top 6 right now. Coaches oftentimes pick the wrong quarterback, right? And that's the scary thing about it, is you never really know who the best quarterback is for your team unless you actually see them play in the game. So Walker Howard, according to my grades, I do think he is a big-time quarterback. I really do. But what I would also say is we don't know that until he actually gets a chance to play in a game. But that's a problem. College football is a scarce market, right? You only play 12 games, and you can't play an experimental game with Walker Howard, let's say, starting at the end of the year versus UAB. You can't really run that risk, or maybe you can, I don't know. But, it's just not what you can do, right? and you don't really know how good he is until he actually gets the chance to play. And he wouldn't have had an opportunity to play this year. And we would have had to wait till next year to see if he is any good. So we're all just kind of guessing at this point. And that's the issue here, right? Walker Howard doesn't want to guess. He wants to go somewhere where he can get a clear landing spot, where there is a clear path to play. Could it be TCU? Obviously, that would be the heavy favorite at this point. They need a quarterback, and Jack Best just went there. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's where, a lot of arrows are pointing. But that's just how modern-day quarterbacking actually works, right? Ohio State couldn't have known that Joe Burrow was going to be better than Dwayne Haskins. It's impossible. They would never bench Dwayne Haskins, who ended up being a Heisman finalist. So, it's always tough. You're always trying to guess at this position. Quarterbacking obviously develops at different rates. It's not like defensive tackle where it rotates and you can eventually see who the best guy is, or receiver, or pretty much any other position. It's either you are the guy or you're not. And that is where we are right now with Walker Howard in his career. Also, we don't know what the quarterback position is going to look like next year for LSU. With the transfer portal being the way that it is now, with the way name, image, and likeness money is going to be over the next couple of years, I do think the quarterback position, it's just simple economics. Quarterback solves the biggest problem in sports, which is, the position that moves the needle the most in the sport that makes the most money, which is football. Quarterback is going to be a highest bidder kind of thing anyway. So what I think next year, and as this NIL stuff evolves, it might not be the case for all quarterbacks, but I do think quarterbacks will become an open market free agency. And what I think will happen next year is, let's just say LSU isn't fully comfortable handing the full keys to Garrett Nussmeier. It's going to be open market. They might go to the portal and see if they can find someone else that has some type of experience that would be willing to come and throw to a very talented group of receivers and what will be a very good offensive line for LSU going into 2024. So you have no idea what the quarterback market is going to be like next year for Walker Howard, or just for anybody really. So, for me, I think there's going to be a major freak out over this because Walker Howard was the chosen one. He did play high school football in Louisiana, and we do have a lot of viewers in the Lafayette region, and we do have viewers at Semper that went to every Walker Howard game, and you've seen how good this guy can be. But the truth is, you don't know. And nobody really knows until he actually gets that opportunity. And all Walker is doing is getting that opportunity somewhere else. And guess what? The world will move on even if that opportunity is not at LSU. So, it's a weird thing. It's a weird situation. But he didn't want to be patient. The Garrett Nussmeier domino, or the Jane Daniels domino, didn't fall the way that he expected it to, and that's where we are right now. And look, there's going to be a lot of stories come out about, was Walker Howard pissed behind the scenes? Did he get along with Brian Kelly? Did he get along with Joe Sloan or whatever? Honestly, that is, to me, not relevant, because even if he didn't get along with them, if he was the clear-cut number 2 guy, I don't think he would have gone anywhere, because he really, really wanted to make it work at LSU. It just didn't work. So, comment down below your thoughts on today's video. Maybe a lot of you agree or disagree. I don't know. That's a fun thing about this channel. And we're actually doing a live stream tonight, so we'll see you there, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Bam! And tonight, we're doing some limited pepper chicken wings, baby. Let's go.